Your name is on the door. You are the one of or the owner of the law firm. So you have to take responsibility for making sure that those communications are documented. They're in a place that can be administered and managed. And also in the event of malpractice issue, a claim or a complaint or a fee dispute, now you have records within Juris MS that you can export, or that you have, that documentation to use to substantiate your side of the story.
Welcome to the Women in Legal podcast with Chelsea Lambert, where we share the stories of women who are making waves in the legal industry as leaders in law, practicing attorneys, or by working as specialists in areas like legal technology or legal marketing. Listen and be inspired to grow in your own career or find the perfect speaker for your next event.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of the Women in Legal podcast. I am your host, Chelsea Lambert, and today I am excited to welcome Ryan Mullis, founder and CEO of Juris Bytes, who is in the process of releasing Juris MS, their very first product in the product suite. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, yes, thank you so much for having me. We're very excited about our first launch.
Yeah, it's coming up quick. It's just amazing to see how fast you and your team have ramped up and built a product. I mean, we got to know each other and were introduced through some mutual friends, actually a law firm in Atlanta. Introduced us. And from the time that we first talked, when you had the concept of what Juris Bytes and Juris MS would be, I mean, we're talking about less than a year. So you have not wasted any time at all.
No, less than 6 months, really.
Oh my gosh.
It was really last summer that I started really getting more focused on actually making this happen. I mean, the idea has been in the back of my head, several years now, but it was really that just being in the right environment that made me go, you know what, it's time to actually make this happen. So Juris MS is a texting app for lawyers and law firms to allow them to text with their clients directly without having to divulge their personal phone numbers. The number one complaint we get from clients, the number one bar complaint, I think, across the country is that clients feel they can't get a hold of their attorney. They don't know what's going on. Lack of communication, to sum it up. But then when you start asking clients, okay, well, how can I make communication better? They say across the board, why can't you just text me? So I said, okay, well, let's just build an app then that will allow us to text clients. So from the client side, it is straight up standard messaging. It's texting. It's a phone number that the firm selects, and it will be local to your area. So it's not one of those, funky 4-digit numbers. It is a real phone number. But from the lawyer and law firm side, it's a perfect, it's an app. So that you can log into it, you can log in and out of it, you can turn it on and off, you can opt into and out of receiving notifications. You don't have to be on all the time. You don't have to give away your personal phone number. And as an added bonus, it gives you a daily usage report. So it'll send you a summary of how many messages were sent and received by each client so that you can then use that to capture your billable time. Because when talking to law firms and lawyers, that was the big concern, is if I keep moving further and further into using my cell phone, it's just so hard to track all of that time. So much gets lost.
Oh, absolutely. And especially in areas where you're billing against a retainer or on an hourly basis, such as family law or divorce, or, really any consumer facing or business law facing practice area or case type, those little chunks of time can add up so quickly. And I think, for me, I was really, really excited to get to know you and watch your product come to life because, as you know, one of my soapbox speeches for the last, year and moving into 2019 and 2020 is that text messaging is quickly becoming the new email. It's easier to get a hold of people.
Yes.
There are more and more millennials that are becoming clients of law firms, more law firms being started by millennials. And it's just that you can see the transition in communication. And from a marketing and communication perspective, statistics wise, the open rates and response rates of text messages are just night and day different
Yes. Yes.
than email. And, it's just that email has become so saturated. If you look at how many emails did you get on Cyber Monday all the way through, or, even before that, before Black Friday, I mean, it's ridiculous. Some retailers are now, or marketers are sending almost every hour. I mean, it's absolutely, quite honestly, it's obnoxious. And so, how, how do you get to your client, and how do you get the information most important to them and make them feel engaged and encourage them to do their part in the case, which is oftentimes
Right.
related to document collection, or, hey, I need an answer from you. So it goes both ways of, if you're expecting your lawyer or the law firm you're working with to be on top of everything and answer you and do everything against a particular timeline, related to domestic or family issues, those communications need to happen very quickly. But from a bar and bar association and ethics perspective, to prevent malpractice, how do you get those conversations off of your personal devices? Things happen, life happens. There could be a paralegal or a front of the house intake person that's working with someone over text, and all of a sudden they decide, I don't want to work here anymore. Or,
Right.
they have a family matter come up and they can't come into the office for, a couple weeks. And now all of those conversations are on their personal device, which
Right.
at the end of the day, we don't really like to talk about it, but that responsibility falls on the shoulders of the attorney. Your name is on the door. You are the one of or the owner of the law firm. So you have to take responsibility for making sure that those communications are documented. They're in a place that can be administered and managed. And also, in the event of malpractice issue, a claim or a complaint or a fee dispute, now you have records within Juris MS that you can export, or that you have, that documentation to use to substantiate your side of the story. So I can't tell you how timely. I mean, this came out of this is your brainchild, but
Yeah.
the timeliness of this is really, really perfect, to be honest. And so let's talk a little bit about, I know you have a beta group running, and
Mm-hmm.
for those of you that are interested in joining the beta, you can go to Juris Bytes website, and that's Bytes, BYTES. So Juris, JURIEIS, Bytes, BYTES.com, and request
Right.
access to the beta group, available for Google Play or Apple devices. Tell me what the response has been from your beta group initially, as you're getting ready to go, into prime time here in the next couple months.
Yeah, so we actually did start by doing some genuine market research surveys with some beta law firms, where they allowed us access to their client base, and we were able to kind of divide their clients into two groups. And one group received a text message update once a week, and the other group did not. And then we used periodic client feedback surveys to see if there was a difference in responses between the groups that were receiving texts and those that weren't. And some of the questions asked included, how happy are you with the level of communication you receive from your law firm? How often do you want to be communicated with? What types of communication do you prefer? And across the board, text messaging was number one. Number two, for how frequent clients desire feedback, was as often as possible. And then, of course, there was a difference between the two response groups, in that those receiving the text messages, there was a general increase in their level of satisfaction. And we also had several, because in those surveys, we allowed clients to kind of give us their own word feedback, an open-ended response. And we got several responses that said those text message updates were so great, because even if nothing was happening in my case, you were able to tell me that. And even knowing that nothing had happened was peace of mind for me. So the feedback from both clients and the attorneys has been overwhelmingly positive. So we really ramped up our production schedule to get it built and released so that because what we used for those surveys was a web platform to actually send the text messages out. So it was taking that next step and getting the app developed so that the lawyers and law firms can actually use this product on their own phones as to be able to text clients.
I love that. And it speaks volumes to the thoughtfulness and methodology behind the design and implementation of this app. It's, I see so much software and so many products, and I feel like sometimes founders, for everybody out there, I hope that you're listening to this carefully, because it's so easy to build a product and just go, right? But the fact that you used a testing ground and basic technology, and even if you have to duct tape it together for the first few passes, getting that real-time feedback to validate your idea before you go and you dump a couple $100,000 or $1 million into building a product, which is, quite frankly, as I'm sure firsthand, Ryan, what it takes to get something out the door. That there's so many missteps and so much that you learn during that initial testing and research phase. And I love that you had 2 control groups. I mean, truly, truly well done on your and your team's behalf of taking the extra time, because I know how hard it is to be super, super excited about building something and you just have to wait.
It was, but I had, it's actually my sister. She's working on her PhD in communications. So I actually handed off the entire project to her just so that I wouldn't influence it in any way. And this is her area of expertise. So she really was able to write up these surveys and give us statistical analysis feedback. And the other thing that she pointed out to us is that, because we also took care to divide up clients by age group, and like you said earlier, the millennial and younger client base is growing, and they are overwhelmingly, they just don't even use email anymore.
No.
Probably, like you mentioned, it's so overwhelming. It's just not worth it anymore. So a term that she taught me that I really love is that there's a difference now between technology immigrants, like the generations before us, as opposed to technology natives. And the technology natives are the client bases that are going to be growing. And if the legal industry is going to keep up, we have to start adapting to those technology natives.
Well said, and well put. And, we jumped into the conversation a bit quickly today. So if you could also share, your background, and you talk about working with clients, like what have your roles been working in the legal industry prior to founding Juris Bytes?
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's a good example. We were just so excited. We had to start talking.
Yeah, exactly. Right to the product. Let's go.
But yeah, so I am a practicing attorney. I graduated from the University of Georgia. I'm a family lawyer. So that's kind of what opened me up to these clients' complaints and how I have firsthand experience with dealing with that. But as far as personal background and kind of digging deeper into this and where this came from, I was a child, or am a child of divorce. My parents divorced when I was very young. And of course, I had my younger sister. I had to help take care of her and get her through that. And while I love it when divorces can be amicable and peaceful, my parents just was not. So from a very, very young age, I had decided that I wanted to help families through that life transition, because it shouldn't be the end of things. Like I see it, divorce is very much just the end of a chapter. So we really need to help families start their new chapter. So of course, the first step to that was, well, obviously I'm going to become a family lawyer. But then I got here and I was like, it's still not enough. Like I'm still not helping families through this in the way that I want to. And with all of the complaints repeatedly coming back of just, you never told me that, I didn't know that. And as lawyers, we sit here and we're like, but it's on my website. It's in the info packet I gave to you. I've sent you emails about this. So I just took a step back and I was like, okay, what is the disconnect here? There's a disconnect somewhere between what the lawyer thinks they're doing properly versus what the client perceives as happening. And we have to just kind of take a step back and recognize that clients, whatever they perceive, that is their reality. And it doesn't matter if we think we're doing a good job. What matters is if they think we're doing a good job. So I kind of just had all of these different app ideas rumbling around in my head. And I was like, this is really what's going to help me step into that desire and need and want to help families through a transition, is to make working with their lawyers easier. So that's just how I got to that point. And there never really was like a firm decision. I just kind of never doubted that I couldn't do it. It was just like, okay, well, if I need to build an app, then I'm just going to build an app.
Amazing. Well, it's the necessity is the mother of invention, as they say. So
yeah.
I appreciate all that you do, as I am also a child of divorce that was not so nice either.
Yeah.
And you watch your family go through that, and you watch, if you're really close, like I'm very, very close with my mom, and, watching her go through that, and, just it's an unsettling thing. And that's also why you see so many communications and forms and inquiries about legal services coming in the middle of the night or on the weekend, because it's something that is just taking over your personal life. And so there are no boundaries there, which is why
Right.
I think, the necessity for text secure and private text messaging is so important, because they are going to text you at any hour.
Yeah.
On the weekend. I mean, it's just, that's something that they are living, that in some cases, unfortunately, they are living that nightmare. And it may give them, even just a little bit of peace of mind to be able to message a question in the middle of the night when it's kept them up until 2 or 3 in the morning, and especially when children are involved in child custody issues, and it can be very heated, and there are domestic issues. So it's something, and you can extend communication out to the family members if there's, for example, in criminal matters or other areas of law. So I think there are just so many applications of this that, you spoke earlier about how it impacts customer service. And the more law firms rely on the internet instead of traditionally relying on referrals for new business, it's going to become increasingly important for you to wow your clients, for them to have an exceptional experience, because they're going to go online and talk about it on Facebook, on Yelp, on Google. So these types of enhancements to that relationship are only going to benefit you when it comes time for them to write a testimonial, or, as you said, like in your research study, the feeling of peace of mind, of being cared for, not being neglected by and it's not that the law firm or the attorney is purposefully doing it. It's just nothing is going on. So I don't necessarily need to send you an update. But from the client's perspective is, I haven't heard from you in 2 weeks or a month, and now I'm freaking out, and I'm going to, there's nothing worse than someone with idle time to sit and act like, especially I feel like I do that a lot personally. I have to stack my calendar, because otherwise I'm going to sit here and I'm just going to think of all these things that could possibly be happening, that aren't actually. But it's that peace of mind, just a little message here or there can really tackle and take care of. So let's transition a little bit into, you've already been a practicing attorney. So now taking on this role as an entrepreneur, and I know you've had some exciting things happen in your personal life over the last, short period of time, 6 months to a year that we've known each other. So how are you balancing, the personal life with practicing as an attorney, with now launching a business and leading development and getting ready to launch into prime time your product at the biggest, tech show of the year? ABA Tech Show here is coming up around the corner. So how do you tackle or balance your personal and professional life and feel, rewarded in both areas?
Well, it's not easy.
No.
I will be honest. Your body, whatever, it's telling me, like, if it tells me that I need to rest, then you have to listen and like go and take a nap. It's just so much better to listen to what my body's telling me it needs and give it than the alternative, which would be pulling an all-nighter or something like that. Like, I've had friends tell me all the time, because in law school I never pulled an all-nighter, and some of my friends think that's incredible, and I'm like, but I perform better getting the sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I know about myself. So it takes really getting to know yourself to be able to listen to those signals. And then, of course, I have to give credit where it's due, and that I do have an amazing support system and network. And my partner, my fiance, is, of course, he's incredible. So I wouldn't be doing him justice if I didn't give him a shout out.
Oh, please do. Please.
It does take a special kind of person to support a partner who's not only practicing full time, but is starting a business and starting development and, wants to reach for the stars. So I couldn't ask for a better partner. But other than that, it's listening to those signals. Like, I need water, I need food, I need rest. Like, okay. And then you just take a minute and just give in to that need and make sure you're taken care of.
Fantastic advice. And I cannot echo those sentiments enough. Personally and professionally, I think we, especially as women, find ourselves compelled to give and give and give and do in all areas of our life. And what we sometimes forget or get lost in is that if we are not healthy, if we are not able to be everything that we need to be because of our health or because of rest or diet and other things that we need, then we can't serve and give to our community the way that we would. Right? It's like
Exactly.
You said, you perform better when you're rested. And I think that that's something where we'll overwork or we'll burn ourselves out, especially when you're trying to move mountains like you are. But there is a point where your body will say, enough
Like,
is
not
enough.
today.
Yeah, enough is enough. And either you're going to listen to me or I'm going to make the decision for you. And so
Pretty much.
yeah, absolutely. And now, and whatever that might be. So I love hearing, that the supportive partner is so important, and I'm so happy for you. You got engaged in the last year, amidst, launching a business and all this other stuff too. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And then, so I have one final question for you today.
Mm-hmm.
What is the one piece of advice you would give to other women pursuing a career in legal tech, looking to launch an app of their own, or grow their career in this community?
So I hope Nike doesn't come after me, but my advice is just do it. There's all sorts of hesitations and anxieties that'll come in, like, I don't have the resources for this, I don't have the money for this, I don't have the time for this. If I try and fail, everybody's going to see that and they're going to think of me as a failure. And I'm saying, so what? At least like, go for it. And all of those resources, all of that knowledge, all of that money, if you make the decision to just go for it, you will find all of those resources that you need. So tied to that is just to make sure you surround yourself with awesome people who want to see you succeed and are willing to help out when you need it. So that really is my best advice, is just, believe that you can and then just go for it.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. And I really, really hope that anyone tackling a new endeavor, especially building a piece of technology, go back if you have to and listen to the section about research again, because it's very rare that people take those extra steps and dig in as deep as you did before moving forward and dedicating so much of your life and time to a product without knowing the ins and outs of your market first. So kudos to you. And I mean, congratulations. I'm so excited to see you guys at ABA Tech Show.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll swing by the booth and do a video in person when we get there. And in the meantime, everybody, please check out Juris MS by Juris Bytes. And Ryan, where's the best place for them to reach out to you? Do you want to share your contact information for anyone who wants to give it a shot?
Sure. So the best place to find info is our website, jurisbytes.com, jurisbytes.com. There is an our products page, and you can click on Juris MS there. We also have a contact us form up on our website, but you can also email me directly. That would be Ryan@jurisbytes.com. So that's RYAN@jurisbytes.com. And I am happy to answer any questions or set up any phone calls or anything like that for anybody who would like more information.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, I can't wait to see you and your team in person here in, my goodness, just about a month. So I will talk to you again soon. And everyone, thank you so much for listening, for downloading, for following the Women in Legal podcast. This is Chelsea Lambert signing off, and we will see you and talk to you again next time.
Thank you.
Bye, Ryan.
Thanks for listening to the Women in Legal podcast with Chelsea Lambert. To hear more, please subscribe.